Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I have Scott Le Beau on the line, who I'm proud to announce is one of our newest authors in our Business Leaders series and book. So excited to have him part of the community, of course. And as an author, Scott is the founder and chief connector over at One Source Direct. Scott, hey, first, I just want to say welcome to the show and welcome to the community.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit today about the book that's coming out, and this will be more of a teaser for everybody watching because just so you know, I'll be bringing Scott back on for a second interview so we can do a deep dive in the book after it's already live. But really today we're going to dive into One Source Direct and the meaning and the mission and how One Source Direct is helping business owners. But to get this episode started, we will start it the way that we start them all with our Mission Matters Minute. So, Scott, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Scott, what mission matters to you?
At One Source Direct, our mission matters simply because small businesses matter. If you think about it, every day in the U.S., how many countless businesses, fail? And do they fail simply because, they lack the brand awareness of their competitors, or do they fail because their product may be of lesser quality or their service might be of lesser quality? Especially now with so many consumers researching products online before they buy, the competition for a business to get to page one of the internet search is huge. And that normally comes at a great deal of expense, whether that's time, effort, or money. So what we did is we built a platform that allows users to connect directly with one another. And in doing so, we do not have search results, which we hope will actually save, the business owners some time, some stress, and a little bit of money too to help them grow in other areas. Yeah. The One Source Direct solution was designed so businesses compete solely on their product or service and their service area. And we're driven by the idea that businesses should compete, regardless of their size, on equal terms and have an equal chance to generate and promote their business, generate leads and promote their business. So as we look to lead the evolution of business social media communities, we very much understand that the success and goals of these small businesses is very much aligned with our own, which again, to us is something that really does make a lot of sense.
Well, Scott, great to have you on the show and big fan of the One Source Direct mission. That being said, I want to go a little bit earlier in your career. Like when did being an entrepreneur, when did all that begin for you?
It probably started when I was in my, high school years. There were different things that I built. And in fact, I was telling my son about one of them a few weeks ago. But I think just that idea of being creative and, realizing that I think if you put your mind to, you can pretty much do anything that you want. So it started then. And it really continued throughout my business career.
So, obviously you've been an entrepreneur for a long time. You've been different businesses, different things, different markets, different cycles. We just came out of the pandemic. So people are out and about, like things are thriving in certain areas, not so good in other areas. Just depends on where you're at. Right. But that being said, what would you tell to that next group or that next crop of entrepreneurs when it comes to starting their first venture? What advice would you give them?
I think just don't be afraid to try something. I tell my kids, I said, being, at my age, and they're younger, I said, you're never too old to start something. And I think that with every failure comes a lesson. And it's really important to kind of take the emotion out of it and figure out how you can do something better, faster, stronger the next time, and continue to learn from your mistakes and listen to people. I've been fortunate in dealing with so many people over the course of time that, there's times I call myself a selective introvert. And by that, I mean, there are times I need to just, be quiet and listen to people. I think if you do that, you can learn some amazing things.
Where did you get the idea, or how did One Source Direct come about?
Initially, we wanted to help community banks because community banks in the U.S. are actually at a level that we haven't seen since prior to the Great Depression. And knowing that the majority of them really kind of struggle, people wearing multiple hats, limited budgets, and also, the access to technology. So we started off there, and as I started talking to more and more people, we started to realize that, the needs of a small business are very similar to that of a community bank. So really taking the advice of a friend of mine that told me to expect to go somewhere that I don't expect it to go, we really started to take it from there and just kind of build on it a little bit, and again, I've been fortunate to work with a lot of businesses, some that have been successful and some that, I've had to work out, which is, a very humbling experience.
Yeah.
So I think, there's been a few factors that have led to this. And I think each day I look forward to, working more and more with small businesses to see how we can make this better for them.
What are some of the opportunity areas that you find? And I know, by the way, it's going to be different from banks to one small business
Mhm.
versus another. But I know when you're creating a solution and an answer really to a problem, like some of the same themes tend to arise.
Right.
What are some of the solutions that OneSource Direct provides to its clients?
Well, I think just the simplicity in terms of getting, connecting somebody that has something which we call a need versus
Yeah.
converting that into a lead for somebody. Like right now, the search process is overwhelming to say the least.
Hmm.
Well, inside the platform, if I'm looking for something and you have it and our areas align, you automatically get it. So that simplicity is a big part of, I think that's probably one of our biggest opportunities. Also in the US, there's about 12 million small businesses that don't even have a website.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities to help the smaller and the micro businesses out there and really to kind of help them take their experiences to the next level.
And so when I think of this, I think of, really that the feel of the platform and the idea to being able to connect with a community. I almost think of it kind of like a chamber of commerce, but online. Like, am I off on this? Or like that's how it kind of
No.
feels to me.
And I think that's a big part of it. It is, a chamber of commerce is a community, and that's really what we're building. The big difference between a chamber of commerce and us, let's say, is just really the scope of their neighborhood, where so many of the, chambers are just local. I mean, you do see
Mhm.
some national ones, but we have the ability to operate within that local and also more of that national or expanded market area as well.
Mhm.
So go ahead.
And when it comes to like linking people and like the idea here is that you can, not only find what you need, but you can also connect with other people that might need what you have. So lead generation and really just
Right.
adding value. Like tell me a little bit more about that and how that came about.
Probably came more from my personal searches because in my roles I've had to look for, let's say, a commercial underwriting software, and it's nothing short of a nightmare because you go there and you go to page 2, 3, and 4, and then next thing you know, I'm getting a call from my IT area telling me that I'm in websites I shouldn't be, and all of a sudden I click them on and they're in a foreign language. Then I'm getting pop-ups. So a lot of it came from just that frustration, and again, so how can we make that,
Yeah.
better? The other things that we've built in is, so many small businesses may have like repetitive purchases. Like one of the
Mhm.
people I work closely with, he's an attorney, and his law firm uses a lot of paper. So I'm like, you can receive what's called an offer through the platform. So I
Mhm.
can set my profile up so that anytime that paper's on sale, I would get a notification through the platform. So
Mhm.
there, that office manager is not freed up to make sure that she doesn't miss or they don't miss a sale,
Yeah.
and save the firm money. So you can do that. The other thing, there's so many opportunities for small business to learn. Like if you're familiar with the employee retention credit,
Mhm.
most people don't know that exists, but I can set up my profile so that if an article comes out on it, that I can have that come directly to me. So it's
Mhm.
not just connecting with that need and that lead, but it's also connecting in other ways,
Yeah.
that small business that may have a newsletter that just sits idle on their website waiting for someone to stumble on it. Now they can take that and push it out to people that actually want to get that
Yeah.
type of information sent to them.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's a great idea. And as you kind of, and I know in my opinion, when it comes to software, when it comes to platforms, like we're always trying to improve or refining. We take the user feedback, we make it better, we make it better. I mean, admission matters. This particular interview, the format, I think we're probably at like the 10th iteration minimum. And we're already on our about to launch the 4th website. And we've only been in business now for going on 6 years. So, always reiterating, trying to make a better product and to
Right.
get add value to the business community. So that being said, as you continue to roll this out, as you continue to grow it, like what are some of the things that are on your roadmap?
Well, first, we plan on launching. We're looking to do a crowdfunding campaign and take on some early adopters around April 1st, and that's no fool. And we're also going to use the early adopters to help us, not just with what we've built already, but we already have 7 enhancements that have been designed, and all of these have been designed with the help of small business owners. So the feedback that we're going to get once we go live will help us expand in about 6 months to markets outside of the U.S.
Hmm.
But again, everything we've done, there's been a lot of involvement. There's been a lot of back and forth.
Hmm.
But I'm really kind of curious to see where we go, because my mindset is that I want to be able to use our users as my board of directors that will help guide where we go.
Hmm.
I come from banking. I know you spent some time in banking, and board of directors are very prominent in a bank. But again, having people that are on the ground using the site will be a
Mhm.
very good guide for us where we go.
What would you say is a good user for the site? Like, what's a good profile for someone that you feel will get value out of being part of the community?
I think typically small businesses that have less than 50,000, or 50,000, it's really small,
Mm,
50, employees or less. I think that's really kind of the market that we're going after, because they're the one that lack a lot of the resources that they need, whether
mhm.
something as simple as an HR department, in most cases you have your HR department and accounting doing the same, job. And those are kind of two unrelated fields. So,
Yeah.
so I think that the smaller businesses less than 50 are really what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because as we started, when I think about, us at Mission Matters, I mean, we started with two people, myself and the other co-founder, and then you start adding more people, you add more
Mhm.
services, you grow, you test. And so this is for individuals that bootstrapped it or started small and then grew it over time. And for those type of individuals, we're always looking for resources. We're always looking for new solutions. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So you may not be at the part where you want to or the time where you want to, as using your example, hire somebody as a full-time HR person and build out that department. Maybe it makes sense to do fractional. Maybe it makes sense to do a fractional CFO. Maybe it makes sense to do a lot of other things. So I see like the value of community and also learning and
Mhm.
figuring things out with each other. I mean, I feel like that's a big benefit.
Right. And, again, just the access to information so that it can help you know what you don't know.
Yeah.
If I can just set my profile, so maybe I want accounting tips, so I keep up to date on
Mhm.
some things that are relevant to what I do, or
Mhm.
HR, things like that. So if it comes across my desk and I have a few minutes to take a look at it, I'm aware of it then, so I can deal with it rather than
Mhm.
having, a lawsuit or an examiner come flying in and, having a little conversation with you.
Yeah. All right. I want to spend some time on the book because the
Okay.
book's going to be coming out. And again, as I mentioned before to everybody, we'll be bringing Scott back on the line. So we'll have another interview. So we're going to keep it kind of high level today. And I know we're still in editing and refining and everything else. So there, content can change. But Scott, high level, like what are some of the things that you plan to propose in the upcoming release?
Again, I think just showing a diverse background of where I picked up on things,
Mhm.
and really kind of looking at my life's experiences. And, I think writing the book was fun for me
Yeah.
because it does make you reflect a little bit upon things that you really didn't think had an impact on you.
Yeah.
Like I look at my 30 plus year banking career and I'm realizing that all these different things I picked up along the way. But I really enjoyed that part of it. And some of the stories, when I was talking with the writer, that to me, I just mentioned kind of in passing, but they're like, no, that's a kind of a good idea. So I think it was nice because it made me reflect a little bit more on things. And again, it kind of helped me bring things together a little bit more
Mhm.
and understand more
And
why we did this.
I like your background, as you mentioned before. So for those who've been listening to the show for a long time, they know, I was in finance for almost 14 years. So that's what I did prior to media, and which I do full time now. But that being said, I feel like there's so many individuals that are in these type of professions that maybe don't take that leap. And I don't want to sound biased because I'm a publisher and I publish people, right? But whether it's books, whether it's a podcast, I'd rather kind of frame this more so along the lines of content creation, like having all of these life experiences that you can share with others so that they can benefit. And you're sharing with people really even outside your circle. So sure, you may mentor somebody, or sure you may, share with your children or with your family. But like if you take your experiences and you put them into something, like whether it's again in the form of a book or something else, like you have that multiplying effect where you can help a lot of people.
Right.
So Scott, what would you say to those that are sitting out there? I like to say sitting on that gold mine of knowledge, whether they're monetizing or not. That's not what I mean, but just the gold mine of knowledge. But they haven't like taken that step to create content, whether it's a blog or whatever their form of content
Mhm.
is. What would you say to those individuals?
Just have faith, and when you talk about your banking career, think about how bankers are looked at, where we have to know about all these different industries. We have to know about all these different products and services. We
Yeah,
get called on, from people. Hey, I need an account. I need this, or,
yeah,
do you know anybody looking for this? So I think that it's possible to reach a larger audience than, you really do believe. And that's one of the reasons I really appreciate this opportunity. And it
mhm,
usually takes a few successes, to really kind of steer my day. Sometimes, as you know, you have those failures where like, oh, this, I can't believe this happened to me. And
yeah,
next thing you know, you're like something positive. It's like, I'm good for a week, you
yeah,
know, and, don't be afraid of it. Just maybe think back to some of the interactions you've had where you were able to help somebody, and maybe go back to them and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? And get their feedback. Because again, that's someone that you probably shared something with that found value in what you're doing. They might know people that need, could use that assistance as well. You
Yeah.
know, what's that saying? I'd rather try and fail than not try at all.
Mhm.
And I think I can speak to that. And I think that comes a lot out in this book
Yeah.
where, again, my selective introvert personality, where now it's like, you know what, let's go to the mountaintop. Let's see if
Mhm.
we can help more people, because that's really where I think you're going to find your value. It's not going to come from dollar signs. It's going to be that inside value that will really help you.
Yeah. And to me, my view, so when I started, obviously finance,
Mhm.
I always thought it was like I didn't really understand. I didn't really understand the importance of sharing your story. I didn't understand the importance of, paying it forward in that manner. I always thought like, oh, who's going to care? Like, who wants to hear about me or who wants to hear this?
Right.
But what I realized having once I, did make that transition, and now that we've published, over 300 authors, I've recorded over 5,000 interviews. I
Right.
mean, I only say that to say that like your voice is going to resonate and it's going to inspire somebody more than mine. Mine is going to inspire somebody else. Like all these other things, it's not about like competition or what's like all these other things, vanity metrics, all of that doesn't matter in my
Right.
opinion. What
No.
matters is that you're authentic in telling your story really for the benefit of others.
Yeah. And again, the more you can do that, I think that it'll truly help people. I mean, you look at what's going on in the world, and there's so much negative stuff out there right now where you really don't even want to flip the TV on anymore, or turn the radio on, or search the phone, whatever. So again, the more positive things that we can do to help people, I think will just help, people in general. I mean, even saying hi to somebody on the street sometimes, or listening to somebody when you meet them at a coffee shop, listen to their story sometimes, I think you'll find that you can help others as well. So
Well, Scott, I just have to say it has been great having you on the show today. Great learning more about what you're doing at One Source Direct. And I'm thrilled to have you in the upcoming book. I mean, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're just getting started on promo. And as we finish up the content, that being said, what's next? I mean, what's next for you, your career, One Source Direct? I mean, what's next?
oh, there's a lot going on at once. I think, again, the big thing is going to be the rollout, sitting down with the
Mhm.
crowdfunding people tomorrow, have a conversation. Now it's really just a matter of, sitting down and talking to some people about, some of the different posts that I want to write, some of the different videos we want to create to help support this. We've been very fortunate. We've been able to partnership with, a couple of small groups. One is a group called Trep House. They deal with minority and indigenous owned businesses. And since we're going to be able to private label the site, there's value added to their members in several different ways. So we got a lot of that going on. Again, just trying to figure out where we're going to go in terms of what enhancements will our first adopters, our early adopters prioritize. I mean, like I said, we already have 7 of them done,
Yeah.
and it's really about how do we make this whole thing, better, faster, stronger. And if you saw the article in the California Business Journal, I'm a fan of outside in engineering. And even though we have the ideas and we worked on them, on a small scale with small
Mhm.
businesses, I really am looking forward to having conversation with the larger businesses or a larger community to
Yeah.
get their feedback, because again, they're the ones that are going to use the site. We're just the placeholders in terms of building it for them.
Mhm.
So again, I think that's really kind of be the fun for me over the next few months as I sit down with people and have more, conversations. And again, if something's broken, I don't know about it, I can't fix it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
it's
this
gonna
is
be
great.
a busy couple months, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be awesome because I can't wait. Like I always see this. So when somebody, they're launching, they're doing crowdfunding, they're iterating, reiterating. I'm excited when next time I bring you back in the show after the book's done, and we can kind of recap and say, all right, last time we talked, and we get the updates. And this is one of the fun parts about, I believe, Mission Matters and the Mission Matters community. We really are a community. We care about our authors, we care about our guests, and really what we're trying to do is build an ecosystem of individuals that support each other and
Right.
that can learn and grow together. And again, we're awesome to have you part of the community.
Thank
That
you.
being said, thank you. Scott, if somebody is listening to this or watching this and they want to follow up, they want to learn more about One Source Direct, they want to follow your journey as well, I mean, what's the best way for people to do that?
Well, the easiest way, of course, would be to email me at scott@onesourcedirect.net. My phone number is 414-238-3340. You can go to our website, onesourcedirect.net. You can check out our demo videos, which again were built by somebody that I've never spoken to. So the four 2-minute videos are very provide a great overview from a
Yeah.
user perspective on how it works. And you can also go there and in the next few weeks and sign up to get a free user profile, which will,
Yeah.
give you the basics of the platform. But again, we have a lot coming out, but just get a hold of us, jump on our mailing lists, and give us any feedback. And like I said, if you want to talk, just give me a call.
Perfect. And we'll be sure to put the links to that in the show
Awesome.
notes so that individuals can click on the links and head right on over to the website. And
Great.
speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters or engaging in an episode, we're all about bringing on business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and having them share their background, their mission, what inspires them, and really what gets them motivated to get out there in the marketplace to make a difference. If that's the type of content that sounds interesting or exciting to you, we welcome you. Hit that subscribe button. We have many more mission-based individuals coming up on the line, and we don't want you to miss a thing. Scott, again, been a pleasure. Can't wait till the next time we get to do this. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. And again, I agree. I encourage anyone to reach out to you because your group has been very supportive and great to work with. So thank you, Adam. I appreciate it.